Alright, is everything good? I think everything's good here. I'm only 2 minutes late. I've seen worse. I've done worse. Let's see. That's silent, that's silent. I've got that set up, that's set up. I've got my web pages, I've got my browsers, I've got everything else good. I think we're good to go. Except for my little furry dude down there in the corner. He's not doing anything. Hold on, I can fix that temporarily. There he is. Okay, let's go ahead and get this started. Oop, not that one. I want that one. There we go. Someday I'll get a stream deck and I'll be able to do that with a push of a button. Future goals. Okay, hello! Shadowcat back. And we are back to work on the tabletop module. We are almost done with the summoner. If we can get 3 done today and 3 done next time, we will be done with Espers. Which is going to be a sad day for me because, I mean, I'm kind of liking doing the Espers. But, I mean, all good things do have to come to an end, and so that will have to come to an end too. I look at the chat, I see JP is in here, except I can't read anything in there because it's not big enough. There we go, now it's big enough. Hello JP, good to see you here. And YouTube continues to show me why I have trust issues because it says there's only 1 person watching the stream, but I have 3 likes. The numbers don't add up. So, I mean, I have no idea what to do with YouTube. You can't fix this thing. It's just forever broken. It will never be fixed. I can't deal with this. Someday I will learn how to multicast and we'll be on Rumble too. But today is not that day. I have looked into it, and I could do it through another company. I forget what it would, I don't remember if it was Streamlabs or StreamYard or something like that. Either way, I saw that I can use OBS to go through them and then multicast to other places, but it's super complicated, and I just haven't been in the right headspace lately to do it. I'll get it fixed another time. Anyway, though, let's go ahead and bring up all the things that we're going to need. We're going to need a browser. There it is. And we're going to need our spreadsheet. And there's that too. Excellent. So the last time we were here, I can get rid of this. Wait. Did I just close the wrong one? Ah, I closed the wrong one. Hold on a second. File, recent, tabletop. That's my notes from yesterday. Nobody wants to see that. Alright, I'll get this fixed. This is a professional operation. There we go. Now it's back. And we can get rid of the notes. We don't need these. Yes, discard all the changes. We don't need them. There, that's gone. Okay, so today we are working on the Salamander, Leviathan, and Odin. And perhaps next week, if we get through these 3, we will work on Cyclops, Bahamut, and Zodiark. So that's the plan, ostensibly. We'll also have to figure out a way to meet some of these, because the only ones that you actually get leveling up are these. So you get your Moogle, you get your basic 3, you get your Ice, your Thunder, your Fire. Titan and Carbuncle you also get naturally just by leveling up. Sylph, Fairy, and Golem, and Cyclops. Which we've done all of them now, I think. No, we haven't done Cyclops yet. We'll get to that eventually. The rest of them, however, Salamander, Leviathan, Odin, Bahamut, Zodiark, oh, and Lich. You don't actually learn those in Tactics by simply leveling up. You have to encounter them first then you can learn them. So we're going to need to figure out exactly how we're going to manage this. And it may be as simple as I put them in the world and you have to go seek them out. A little bit like the faith in Final Fantasy X. Because the faiths in 10, you went through all of your basic faith in the progress of the story. So you started off with 1, and then you went to, I believe it was fire, then ice, then thunder, then you got Bahamut. And if you never went exploring, that would have been the full extent of the aeons that you got. So after that, if you wanted to get the others, like Yojimbo or Anima, who else was there? There's some Mega Sisters. Was that about it? I think that might have been about it. That would have been... You had to go looking for them. And so that's going to be much the case when it comes to these. You'll probably have to go looking for them in order to use them. And I see the Tuxedo's in the chat as well. Hello, Tux. And hello, JP. I don't remember if I said hello to you or not. If I did already, you get an extra hello. So, good to see you. So yeah, that's kind of future plans. But for now, we're just going to get to work. And I still have all the information for Lich in here. So we're just going to go ahead and clean this out. Since all the AC and stuff is... that's equations, I'm going to leave them be. But these can all go away. This is all just text. And the same thing is true over here. That's just text. And we can leave everything else be. Alright, so... First Esper we're working on today is going to be the fire lizard, Salamander. As far as alignment goes, it's a lizard. It can be neutral. Tuxedo says, wait, JP gets 2 hellos and I only get 1? That's not fair. Daddy Shadow's being unfair. Look, whoever told you that life was fair lied to you. Sorry, but we're just going to have to rip that Band-Aid off right now. Whoever told you that life was fair, they lied. Okay, now, I want to come over here to this one, and we're going to take a look at Salamander. So, there's a picture. This is the artwork from Tactics, so this is our lizard, technically. And you can't really see it because it doesn't fit in the page. I wish I had a better way to, like, split these. Is there a better way to split my screen to make this a little bit more legible? Visible? Should I go side by side? Would side by side work better than top and bottom? I don't know. Let me know in the chat what you think is better. Should we go top and bottom? Or should we go side by side? Because, I mean, I'm open here. And Blizz is in the chat. Hello, Blizz. Good to see you. So there we go. Let me pull that down. So there's the lizard that we got. That's about as big as I can make it, but, I mean, the bigger it gets, kind of the worse it gets. Actually, it looks more like a dragon than a salamander, don't you think? That doesn't look like any salamander I've ever seen. Okay, well, I mean, we'll make do. We'll see what we can do. Let's see. So Salamander is a recurring summon of the fire element exclusive to Ivalice and first appearing in Final Fantasy Tactics. Since it's exclusive to Ivalice, that means that it has only appeared in Tactics. Well, okay, and in Final Fantasy XII Revenant Wings. That is neither a salamander nor a dragon. It's like an angry pig. It's like self-cooking bacon. It's pre-cooked bacon. JP says flaunting 2 hellos because I was early and SK has a short memory. I've had a rough morning. Cut me some slack here. Let's see. Is there anything else that I can show about this? Nope. Literally does not show anything. So the only thing we've got to go on here is this. Blizz says it doesn't have wings, ergo not a dragon. Okay, but look at the head. That's what I'm saying. Look at the head. That is not a lizard head. That is a dragon head. I mean, it doesn't have, you know, back legs either. It's like a snake with a dragon's head and 2 weird claws. I don't know what to make of it. But we have to do the best we can with what we've got. All the same, I think that I'm going to go ahead and use dragon stats for it. So it may not be a dragon technically, but I'm going to make it into a dragon. So we're going to come over here. And we're going to look ourselves up a red dragon. Now, where is that going to be? That's going to be in the bestiary. There. And if we go to D, can I get lucky enough to just have a thing for dragons? Here we go. Dragons. True dragons. And we're going to want chromatic red. Alright, so given that the Esper is going to be like the king of all of these things, should we go with like the oldest one that we can find, being like a great worm? Actually, probably not. And the reason I say probably not is because we are probably also going to be using dragons for Bahamut. Because Bahamut has to be the king of dragons. That's literally what Bahamut is in every incarnation. And there is probably a Bahamut in here as well. I think I've seen it. But if we can't find a Bahamut in here, we can always find a Tiamat in here, and we can use that. Because in Final Fantasy, Bahamut usually comes with the ability to use all magic, not just one kind of magic. So I think what we're going to do here is we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. So if we've got 12 of them, then what's the middle? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 means that we're going to have either an adult or a mature adult. I'm going to go with the mature adult. Let's take a look at what we got here. So, mature adult red dragon. Dragons are classified here as chaotic evil. You know what? It's good enough for me. Instead of being neutral, chaotic evil. Now, as for size. Huge. And so huge is going to come with some modifiers. He's going to be huge, long, and it doesn't really matter too much to this, but huge, long is going to be a -2, +2. There we go. And so automatically that has affected our armor class And that's about it for the moment. Although, shouldn't it also affect these? I feel like it should. Maybe. I'm going to look it up. Let's come back down here to... Actually, I can do this even better. No, because I don't want to lose that page. Alright, game mastering... Combat. And I want combat maneuvers. Alright, so... Combat maneuvers are base attack plus strength plus dex defense. But even offense should be the same thing. Yeah, plus special size modifier. Oh, no, wait. Special size modifier. I think the reason why we didn't add these is because they neutralize. Right? I think that was the reason why we didn't do that. So we can just leave that be. Alright, type, of course, will be an outsider. Because they are outsiders. Initiative is going to be an automatic +4. Senses will get later on, and aura, since we are going with a dragon, we already gave Ifrit the fire aura. We're going to give Salamander the frightful presence. And the DC will have to, well... I mean, we might keep the DC the same, we might not, but I'm just going to copy this over for right now. So, copy and paste. Default formatting. So, we'll look into that. So, Frightful Presence, this ability is a free action, usually part of an attack or charge. Opponents within range who witness the action may become frightened or shaken. The range is usually 30 feet. The duration is usually 5d6 rounds. The ability affects opponents have fewer hit dice than the creature has, which you're guaranteed to have. The opponent can resist the effects with a successful will save. And actually, I take it back. This isn't guaranteed because all of these summons only have 15 hit dice. So that means that once you're level 16 or higher, you're no longer really subject to the whole Frightful Presence thing. Alright, so that's fine. The DC I will look into. Okay, now that that's done, why don't we take a look at these? And for this, I'm going to go back to our dragon. Now, where are our highest stats? It looks like it is going to be Strength and Constitution, followed by Wisdom. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our 16 here, 14 there, 14 there. Afterwards, it is going to be Intelligence and Charisma, followed by Dexterity. So, Intelligence is going to be 12. We can put 11 there. And then Dexterity can be 10. Now, also need to keep in mind that because it is huge, we need to make some modifications. And for that, we need to come back to our Summoner and our Eidolons. Probably should have had this one up beforehand. It's alright. It doesn't take us but a few seconds. Cantrips, Eidolon. Here we go. And large. We'll start at the bottom. It'll probably get us there faster, I think. Maybe? Yeah, here we go. Okay. So, this is for making them large. If we spend 6 more points, it instead becomes huge. And so that means that we are giving this one a plus 16 to strength. We are doubling the strength. That's going to be 32. Dexterity takes a minus 4 penalty, so that goes down to 6. Constitution gets a plus 8, so that's going to go up to 22. We already have the penalty to the AC and attack rolls. We already have the bonus to CMB and CMD. Oh, wait. These aren't penalties. Okay, then. These actually do need to change. Or no, wait. Do they not? No, they do already count. I've got that in there. Does the penalty not apply to them? I thought the penalty applied too. Maybe it doesn't. Okay, in that case, we want to get rid of D3. There we go. Alright, so that improves those just a little bit. Now, as for the bonuses, I will need a reference for this. So, ability scores. +32 is a plus 11. Dexterity is a -2. Constitution, being 22, is going to be a +6. Nope, not that. +6. 12, of course, is a +1. 14 is a +2. And 11 is +0. But, there we go. That takes care of all of our modifiers, and that's going to put the HP up to a 210. That ain't bad. As for saves, where are the saves for our dragon? What's good, what's bad? 17, 11, and 16. So good saves are going to be Fortitude and Will. Bad's going to be Reflex. So that's going to be a +9, +5, +9. And there we go. Not bad. However, our AC is absolutely terrible. Did we get any armor class from this? -2 penalty, let's see. Oh, a +5 bonus to natural armor. There we go. So natural armor is going to be a +5. Alright, that changes base armor and flat-footed armor. Alright, excellent. So senses, since that is governed by will, or not will, wisdom, that's going to be perception +2. It doesn't need to pay attention to a whole lot of things. It's only here to do damage and then go away. Damage reduction. Now, because it is a dragon, what do we have over here for damage reduction? Does it have any? Actually, it does. It has a damage reduction of 10. And I'm going to give it. So, DR... Not Dr. Dre. DR 10. Immune, of course, to fire. It's not going to have any resistances. However, weakness will, of course, be blizzard. Now, as for speed, dragons have a speed of 40 feet. And they can fly for 200, but poorly. And since this thing only has the two little things there and doesn't have any other legs, I'm going to just assume this thing flies. So I'm going to give it the same abilities. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this over. There we go. We'll default format that and call it good. As far as space and reach go, we look down here at huge, long. The space it occupies is 15 feet, but the reach is only 10. So that's going to be 15 feet and 10 feet. Now, as far as melee attacks go, this thing is a dragon. Ergo, it has lots of attacks. I mean, if we look at the actual red dragon here, melee, it's got a bite, it's got 2 claws, and it's got a tail slap, it's got wings. Our salamander does not have wings, so that's out. However, that does mean that we can go ahead and still give it the bite, claws, and tail. So let's get into this. As far as the melee attack bonus, that is going to be 15 plus strength, but minus the size. So base attack plus strength is going to be 26. But if we subtract the penalty, that's only 24. So if we come down here, it's going to be bite plus 24. And the damage for that is going to be 2d6 plus 11. Next is going to be the claws. So we're going to say 2 claws, both at a plus 24. And those will each do 1d8 plus 11. And then lastly, of course, will be the tail, which is also at a plus 24. And tail attacks, here we go, tail slap, is another 1d8 plus 11. Now, as far as a ranged attack, this thing already has magic, so I'm not too inclined to give it a ranged attack, especially since its primary breath weapon is going to be its special attack. So we may as well copy that over right now. If we come over here, and we look at the salamander, we have worm fire. And this is an attack that comes with options. So copy and paste. Yeah. So the worm fire can come in a variety of flavors. It can either be a 30-foot line, a 20-foot cone, or a 10-foot burst. Whichever you want it to be. And it's 12d10 damage, which is massive. Now, as for spells, given that it already has worm fire, I don't think that I'm going to give it Firaja. But I may give it Firaga instead. So that would be a max of 3d20, so we're talking about a cap of 60 damage, which would make it half the strength of a normal... or it's half the strength of its Wormfire. That's what I want to say. I can use words. So we're going to paste that in. And we're going to slide that over because he doesn't have an MP cost. What else we want to give him? I mean, almost all the other ones also had shell, so we can give him shell as well. If we come over here and we look at Shiva... Yeah, she's got shell as well. Although I didn't add it in with her. Okay, here we go. We'll borrow it from this one. So copy. And paste. So shell will just be a damage or a magic damage reduction of 10. That ends with the summoning. And what else? What else could we give? It's already got Frightful Presence. So giving it anything along those lines is probably out already. As far as black magic goes, don't want to give Flare. I don't see anything under white magic that looks particularly useful. Now that's interesting. What if we were to give it some kind of physical ability instead? That's something we could do. So I'm kind of liking the idea of Rend Armor. Because that does sound like something a dragon would do, right? Rend Armor? We'll come back to it. I mean, really, all of those are kind of together under Greater Sunder, which I think I just gave, right? Yeah, Greater Sunder. I don't think we want anything from there. As far as the monk... Yeah, I don't think there's anything with the monk we want. What about the Lancer, actually? Or not the Lancer, the Dragoon. The Dragoon primarily just has all of these mounted abilities. So, yeah. None of that's really going to do anything. However, Dragonheart gives re-raise once per day. Now, that's once per day for the Dragoon. But what if we gave... What if we gave that ability to our dragon? So if we come back up here to our white mage does have re-raise. So I think we can do that. We can just say re-raise. Yeah, re-raise. And let's see. Gives the effect of raise for 1 minute. Right, so we're not going to do that. It's not going to be 1 minute. It will instead be however long the Esper's on the field. So we're just going to say re-raise ends with summon. And that way, you know, the dragon could just say, you're not dying. Just cast re-raise on somebody and prevent them from going down. And I like that. That fits in a multitude of levels. So we've got a big fire spell, we've got a magic protection spell, and we've got a dragon-ish kind of spell. I like that. I think that looks pretty good. Is there anything else that we're missing on this one? I don't think there is. The other thing I can think of that we might want to add would be feats, but what feats do we give this thing? Like, what feats does the dragon have? Cleave, greater vital strike, improved critical bite, improved initiative, improved iron will, improved vital strike, blah, 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 blah. Multi-attack. Let's see, multi-attack. The creature is particularly skilled in making attacks with its natural weapons. Prerequisite is to have 3 or more natural attacks. Okay, we've got that. The benefit, the creature's secondary attacks with natural weapons take a -2 penalty. Okay. Yeah, we can do that. We'll give it multi-attack. Multi-attack. As if it wasn't terrifying enough. And so what we have now is basically a Final Fantasy dragon, which is huge, so it's 3 by 3. It's not a perfect square, but you get the idea. I mean, if you're only 1, this thing is 3, so yeah. You're not going to have a good time fighting this thing. It doesn't have a ton of armor. However, it does have nice natural armor, and it has a damage reduction. So you do hit it, but unless you're doing more than 10 points of damage... Oh, and I suppose I should add, that is only physical, so it can be penetrated by magic. So if you manage to hit this thing with Blizzard, or something like that, since it is weak, it will do double damage, and the damage reduction does not apply. That does mean that, very similar to Ifrit, if we were to come back here and take a look at the Black Mage, even a simple Blizzard spell that only does 5d4 damage, it's going to do double the damage. So normally it would cap out at 20, when used against Salamander, that caps out at 40. And that's the most basic spell. If you have a Black Mage that's got any levels in it at all, then you probably at least have Blizzara or Blizzaga. Which means that the, what was it, 210? Yeah, 210 hit points, they're going to go away pretty fast. I mean, Firaga, the Aga spells do a maximum of 60. That means that using Blizzard against the Salamander, we're talking about potentially 120 cap of damage. 2 of those, and Salamander's kind of gone. So, definitely not unbeatable. We're going to get to the unbeatable summons later. But I think this looks pretty good for our fire dragon. I think I'm just gonna save it. Okay. So I'm just gonna grab from over here. We'll copy. We'll come over here to our Esper storage. Down to the end. And there we go. There is Salamander. I like it. I think this works out well. All right. Now we get to move on. So we're going to get rid of that. We can get rid of that one. We can get rid of those. Everything down here can be deleted. And everything there can be deleted. So the next one is a big one that I think I might have screwed up already on, but we'll see. This one, of course, is going to be Leviathan. Now, interestingly enough, I don't know if we have a Leviathan in here, but I want to look for one. In particular, I'm going to go to the bestiary, and instead of searching by that, I want to search by terrain. We're going to go for, ooh, not just aquatic water. I want ocean and sea. Because I want deep water. And what do we got? Krakens, locoths, sea serpent, maybe? A spine frill neck arching up from the water like a snake ready to strike. This ship-sized serpent hisses a challenge. This might be it. So this is a gargantuan magical beast. Space is 20 feet. Reach is 20 feet. Alright. Tales of immense sea serpents have colored the accounts of seagoing folk since the first ships sailed beyond the sight of land. Yet proof of the immense and elusive creatures are remarkably difficult to come by. For not only is the ocean vast and true sea serpents rare, but the creatures are quite adept at both avoiding capture and destroying ships bent on the daunting task. Due to its hermetic nature, many sailors take to ascribing the sighting of such a beast as an omen. Although whether the sighting portends peril or providence depends as much on the ship's morale as it does anything else. The sea serpent itself has little interest in prophecy, and only its hunger determines how dangerous its proximity to a curious ship can be. This kind of sounds like it. So when we take a look at Leviathan, we've got this. And this is from the Final Fantasy VII Remake. And that is a pretty good looking Leviathan. I mean, they all kind of look like that, but that in particular is a pretty good looking Leviathan. And there's a lot to choose from because Leviathan's kind of been a staple for a long time. There's Final Fantasy III. Final Fantasy IV, although that one's kind of small. Well, I mean, I guess it does come with a few more pictures of it. Either way, still a sea serpent. Final Fantasy V. Yeah, there's just no better picture of that one. 6. It's okay. It's tiny, though. Final Fantasy VII. Inglorious Polly. Yeah, they definitely upgraded that one a bit. And there we go. They even show a picture of it being summoned. That's been before Crisis, though. Okay. I think that Leviathan deserves to be a little bit bigger than that, though. Final Fantasy VIII. It's okay. 9. Kind of weird looking. But 9 had its own kind of style. There was no Leviathan in 10. 11 did have one right here. He looks okay. Still a big sea snake. Let's see. There was no Leviathan in... No, I guess there was. That's in Revenant Wings. Wait. That's Leviathan? Can we all agree that this should never have happened? This is wrong on just so many levels. What were they thinking? Let's see. Final Fantasy 13 had this Leviathan. That's kind of weird looking. Leviathan is a false sea. The Leviathan Plaza is an area in Cocoon in the city of Eden, past Siren Park. Yeah. Okay, never mind. So I don't think it's actually a summon there. Let's see. Final Fantasy 14 has a pretty good looking Leviathan. That's a good palate cleanser after what Revenant Wings had. Alright, so yeah. They're all basically look the same. They're all just giant sea serpents. I think that's what we're going to do. So I think we're going to end up borrowing a lot of these stats from this sea serpent. And I think we'll start with the size and the alignment. Alright, so the alignment is going to be neutral. Size is going to be gargantuan. And being gargantuan is going to come with some penalties. Gargantuan long is going to be a -4 and a +4. The type will be an outsider. The initiative will be a +4. Oh, wait, we forgot to fix the initiative. Hold on, let's come back to our Salamander for a minute. Because dexterity is a -2, which means that with the initiative up here, Salamander only has a +2 initiative. Almost forgot. Didn't forget, though. Senses we'll get to in a moment, and aura. Does it have an aura? It does not, so we're not going to give this one an aura either. So, no aura. Now, because it is gargantuan, if we come back here to the Eidolons, let's see. The ability to increase the evolution costs twice as much for evolution points when adding to the strength or constitution scores of a large or huge Eidolon. Okay, so I think that we can actually continue this and make it even bigger. So we can use this. And we look at this, at a large size, it gets a +2 bonus to natural armor. When it becomes huge, it gets a +5 bonus. So, what I'm thinking is, since it's gargantuan and that's another step up, what I think we're going to do is this. And I think it's what we had to do for the Titan as well, because we made our Titan colossal. And there wasn't anything to make a summon colossal. Every strength is going to be +8. Every constitution will be +4. Since this seems to be going up more, we started with a +2, then we got a +3, so for gargantuan we would need another +4 for the natural armor, making that a +9. So that'll be a +9. That helps a bit. And let's go back to our Sea Serpent again and start assigning stats. So, much like the dragon, it looks like this is going to be Strength, Constitution, but then Dex. So we're going to go 16, 14, 14. After that, Wisdom and Charisma are tied, and Intelligence is the lowest. So Intelligence will be a 10. Wisdom, we will make the 12, just for a better will save. And then Charisma can have the 11. Now, to add in all the additions. So every size category is a +8 in strength. So that means it's going to be 8 times 3 is going to be +24. And +24, well, 24 plus 16 is going to be 40. All right, it is a +4 for every size category going to Constitution, so that's going to be a +12. So 14 plus 12, 26. Dexterity, however, it is a -2 penalty for each size category. So since we're doing 3 categories, that'll be a -6. Putting the dexterity down to 8. That means I'm going to duplicate this so I can go backwards. We come back to abilities and scores. 40 is going to be a +15. An 8 is a -1. 26 is a +8. And intelligence is going to be a +0. Wisdom will be a +1. Charisma will be a +0. So again, big lizard. Don't mess with it. So because of the nice bonus Constitution, we have doubled the base HP, meaning that our Leviathan has 240 hit points. Because it has a +1 in Wisdom, that means it will get a Perception +1. And because it has a -1 to Dexterity, its initiative will only be a +3. Now, as for these, I suspect it's going to be much like the previous version. So we've got Fortitude, Reflex, and the low one is actually Will. I was wrong. So that will be +9, +9, +5. Now, damage reduction. Does this have any? It does not. And so, we're not giving any damage reduction this time either. Immunities. So, in general, I would say that it's immune to water. Obviously. However, I don't think that there is any water magic in, I don't think there's any water magic in Final Fantasy Tactics, so we didn't give any water magic. That being said, however, I could make it immune to Blizzard. So if we do this, and we just say immune to Blizzard, that would simultaneously normally make it weak to fire. However, I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to say it's a great big lightning rod. Weak to thunder. And no spell resistance. Now, normally, these would be its speed stats. It would be a speed of 20 feet with a swim speed of 60. However, Leviathan has always been shown to be a flying sea serpent. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this over. But we are then going to change swim to fly. And so our sea serpent can now fly, which makes sense. As for its natural attacks, it has two. It's got a bite and a tail slap. And so that's what we're going to do. Now with a 40 in strength, that gives it a natural 30. However, with a -4 penalty, that means that it's only going to be a plus 36. Or no, plus 26. My head works. So this is going to be bite plus 26. And for a gargantuan creature, let's take a look. So bite for gargantuan is 2d8. 2d8 plus 15. And then tail slap plus 26. And that is going to come down here. That is going to be also 2d8. There we go. (2d8 plus 15). Now, it does not have any kind of ranged attack, because it is just a lizard. However, space and reach. Because it is gargantuan long, it's going to be 20 and 15. So 20 feet and 15 feet. Now, the special attack. The special attack for Leviathan is going to be very difficult. And it's going to get nerfed a little bit. Just because of the sheer scope of it. So originally, this is what it looked like. Originally, it was Tidal Wave. Now, Tidal Wave does bludgeoning and pushing. And what it did was 6d10 damage, which is still pretty heavy. It did 6d10 damage, and it also pushed for 60 feet. Now, of course, there was saves on all of these, because it is a rush of water. So it's a DC 10 plus the summoner's level to both have the damage and to resist the push. Still, even half damage is... it's a lot. Especially given that, unlike other summons, which are limited to the number of targets they can have by the summoner's level, this is not. And so what I think we're going to do is we're going to have this. And let's see, instead of doing that, I'm going to say... instead of being 3d10, I'm going to say 5d6. That way, more dice means a higher average. And I want it to have a higher average. But this also means that it caps out at about 30 damage. And if you make the save, you can have that. Which means that it's not nearly as... it's not nearly as devastating as some of the other attacks, but it is going to hit like an entire battlefield at once. Because, let's not forget, this attack is going to be a line, but it's going to be centered on Leviathan. So we're going to have to kind of rewrite this. This is going to be a 60-foot line in opposite directions. And then it goes 120 feet to one side. And that should be much easier to understand. I should be able to just hand that off to somebody and they should be able to understand it. Maybe I need to give them a little bit of an explanation, but that's okay. In fact, I might even need to get a visual aid for that one, but it's fine. We can do that. And so with Tidal Wave, what'll happen is you'll just simply have two lines that start from Leviathan, go out 60 feet in opposite directions, pick one side of the line or the other, and then just wash out that side of the line. Friends, enemies, all of it. It's just gone. Now, because this is hitting the ground, as far as spells go, we are going to go ahead and give Leviathan Shell. And so this will be a magic damage reduction of 10. And it ends with Summon. This does not need to be filled. Okay. Also, because this is a bludgeoning attack... Ooh, actually, this is a bludgeoning attack, not a magical one. So instead of having Shell, I'm going to give Protect. And it's going to be a damage reduction of 10, period. I'm also going to give Float. And Float will, of course, render them immune to the Tidal Wave. And this will also end with Summon. So Leviathan could target somebody with Float, lift them up off the ground, then use Tidal Wave, wash everything away, and since Float ends with the Summon, as soon as Leviathan goes away, they float back down to the ground. Is there anything else, though, that we really want to give Leviathan? I'm not seeing a whole lot. We already gave Float, so that's fine. We already gave Protect, that's fine. There's really no rending that we need to do. And Leviathan doesn't have fingers, and so can't use a bow. I don't see a whole lot. Nope. I wonder if there's anything that we can take from the actual Sea Serpent for inspiration. Why don't we take a look again? I do want to give it multi-attack, now that I know about multi-attack. Which is already in there, so it can stay there because, well... Ooh, actually I take it back. We can't have multi-attack because that requires 3 natural attacks and we don't have it. So instead, we have improved Bull Rush, improved Critical, improved Initiative, Iron Will, Lightning Reflexes, Power Attack, Skill Focus, Stealthy. Not a whole lot there. Let's see. Special attacks. It has Capsize, Constrict, Swallow Whole. Was there anything in Tactics that would let us be swallowed? Let's take a look at our auxiliary sheet. So, status effects. Sleep, Poison, Blind, Oil, Stone, Confuse, Silence, Toad, Slow, Stop, Immobilize, Disable, Doom, Vampire, Zombie, Chicken, Charm, Traitor. No. There's really nothing there to account for being swallowed. So we're not going to include that. No, there's really nothing more to add. It is aquatic, though. What is it? What do aquatic things come with? Is there anything here that I need to make a note of? Animal, constructs. Don't see anything in here for aquatic. Magical beast, plant, undead. Don't see anything there. It does say magical beast aquatic. Maybe it's a subtype. Is it a subtype? Plant, undead. Here we go. Subtypes. Adlet, Aeon, Agathian, Air, Angel, Aquatic. Okay, these creatures always have swim speeds and can move in water without making swim checks. An aquatic creature can breathe water, but cannot breathe air unless it is amphibious. That is true, however, Leviathan won't be out long enough for this to matter. Alright, so there's really nothing there. There's nothing more that we can really glean from the Sea Serpent page to add to our Leviathan. It does say that it resists fire, though. So that's kind of interesting. We could add that. So, spell resist. Sure. So, spell resist is going to be fire at, say, 2 per summoner level. So the better your summoner is, the more it can resist fire. It's still going to be immune to blizzard, it's still going to be weak to thunder, but it can also add the fire resistance there too. Alright, I feel a little bit better about that now. So, very defensive, great physical attacks, interesting mechanics when it comes to the special attack. I'm going to call it good. We're going to be out of here pretty early today. So I'm going to copy this and paste it over here. Paste. And there we go. Looking pretty good. Not gonna lie, I'm gonna be very excited when Leviathan first hits the battlefield. It's going to be a very awesome moment and terrifying for whoever's going to be on the other side of it. Although, to be honest, Leviathan should be terrifying to its own side too. Because if you use Tidal Wave, water does not discriminate. Alright, so we have one left to do then. And we have plenty of time to do it. So let's go ahead and delete all of these. There we go. We're good. We can also clear those out. Alright, everything's back to normal. I'm going to grab a drink real quick. Ah, there we go. Much better. Alright, last but not least, Odin. Now, Odin, I remember as being absolutely terrifying. Because in most games, Odin was the one, it was the one summon that didn't do damage. It just straight up killed things. You know, until Final Fantasy VIII. After Final Fantasy VIII, things changed. But here we go. Legendary knight who rides his beloved horse Sleipnir to deliver a crushing blow. The Zantetsuken. JP says enter the "do it" meme. Just do it! I can't do it as well as he can. Alright, so he has a long history. Let me pull this down a little bit so we can look together. So there was the very first Odin. And this horse only has 4 legs. I wonder when his horse finally got 6 legs. It's a bug horse. Let's see. Final Fantasy IV. Hard to see. That's a little bit better. Only had to increase the size to 400%. But yeah, there he is. Still a regular horse. Alright, Final Fantasy Interlude, Final Fantasy V. And there's the first appearance of the bug horse. I don't know why they gave it 6 legs. But I mean, it does make it a very unique horse. Let's see. There we go. Final Fantasy VI. Oh, these pictures are all so tiny. I'm not blowing it up again. Final Fantasy VII. Yeah, he's got the bug horse too. It's got 6 legs. Yeah, let's see. The Odin Cemetery is found within the mansion in Nibelheim, however. Contains an instant death effect, which can be used by linking Odin materia with the added effect in weapon or armor with to either add the effect to physical attacks or make the wearer immune to instant death. Odin has 2 attacks, the steel-bladed sword and the gunge lance. The steel-bladed sword, rough translation of Zantetsuken, has a 92% chance of instantly killing enemies vulnerable to it, and will always kill at least one opponent. He uses the gunge lance when no one in the field would die to a steel-bladed sword, whether because it would have missed or because the enemy is immune to instant death. The gunge lance inflicts non-elemental damage to one opponent. Final Fantasy VIII. Final Fantasy VIII was the one where he's weird. So Odin is the optional, non-controllable guardian force who appears at the start of battles to instantly just kill enemies with the Zantetsuken, slicing them in half. He will not usually appear against bosses, with one exception: Tonberries, Cactars, Visages, Lefty, Righty, or Grats. If the player acquires Odin before battling Cypher at the Lunatic Pandora, Odin will be replaced by another summon, Gilgamesh. Yeah. So you couldn't actually summon Odin in Final Fantasy VIII. He just came whenever the hell he felt like it. Let's see. 9. You can get him. He actually has a really cool moment where he shows up not summoned by you. And it's terrifying. It's all in an FMV. And it's amazing. It really is. But that was one of the cool things about Final Fantasy IX, is you got to see the actual true devastation of what a summon was supposed to do. In every other Final Fantasy that I know of, you only ever saw the summons in battle. With Final Fantasy IX, you got to see summons out of battle. And what they could really do. And what they could do out of battle really made you look at them in battle and say, why can't you be better? If Odin can level an entire city, why does he struggle against a dragon? And JP says, Gilgamesh? Yes, Gilgamesh is in Final Fantasy VIII, but you have to do something very specific to get him. And Gilgamesh, we're not adding to this one, I don't think. I mean, we could. We don't necessarily have to be bound by what was in Final Fantasy Tactics. We could add more summons. Should we do that? Should we add more summons? Because if we add more summons, let's see, just the ones that I can think of off the top of my head. Probably not the Knights of the Round. Although, oh, never mind. No, we could do Knights of the Round. Except instead of them being giant knights, what if it just summoned like 12 regular knights? I mean, they wouldn't be necessarily as strong as a regular summon, but there could be 12 of them. Ooh, we could do Knights of the Round. We could do Gilgamesh. Which, if you're not familiar with Gilgamesh, there's Gilgamesh. Let's see. We could do Gilgamesh. Final Fantasy VIII, I don't know. We could get an Alexander in there. I mean, Alexander's been in so many Final Fantasies. We could do an Alexander. There's Eden in Final Fantasy VIII, but I think that Eden and Zodiac are too similar to put both of them in. So I think that I would skip that. Final Fantasy IX has Arc. I would love to do Arc. So we could do Arc. Final Fantasy VIII also has Doom Train, but I always thought that Doom Train was kind of weird, and I'm not sure that I would really want to do that. Besides that, Doom Train did not do damage. Or at least not a lot of damage. Doom Train inflicted every status effect in the game. And we already have a status summon, so I don't think we would want to do that. That would be doubling up. Who else? As far as Final Fantasy X goes, we already have Ifrit, we already have Shiva. Final Fantasy X had Ixion, but Ixion is just the lightning summon. We have Rama, and we're going to keep Rama. We already have Bahamut. Final Fantasy X also had Valifor, but Valifor was just like discount Bahamut, honestly. Valifor was non-elemental and could learn all kinds of other magic. Which is exactly what Bahamut did, but Valifor you got at the beginning, Bahamut you got later. However, Final Fantasy X had Yojimbo, who you had to pay to do attacks, and since, you will be an adventuring party and you will have money, Yojimbo could be thrown in there. Anima is basically the same thing as Lich, so I can't see putting Anima and Lich in there at the same time. And after that, my knowledge of Final Fantasy Espers becomes kind of, it's kind of not great, because I never played 11. I played 12. But the Espers in 12 were kind of different. And JP says, Loki? Beowulf? I don't think those are summons. If they are, they're not summons I'm familiar with. Those are just kind of legendary characters. But I mean, these are things that we could do. Maybe I'll put a poll up. Maybe I'll see if anybody wants to spend more time making more summons. Especially after we spent this much time already making more summons. We'll look into it. For right now, though, we need to get our Odin done. Okay. So, because Odin is Odin, and is very different from other summons, Odin is going to kind of need to have 2 parts. One of them being more complicated than the other, because technically speaking, we will need to have stats for both Odin and Sleipnir. Yeah, we're gonna need to have stats for both Odin and Sleipnir. So we're gonna do these one at a time. And I guess we're gonna have to try and do these fast because now we gotta do 2. Okay, alignment is going to be neutral. Size, however, is going to be large. And large is going to come with a -1 penalty and a +1 bonus. So it's going to be outsider. Initiative is going to be an automatic +4. Senses, though, we'll get to that eventually. And aura, none. Okay, we're going to come down here, and we're going to build Odin ourselves. So Odin is a primarily physical person. However, he is very wise. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm going to build for saves. That is to say, Fortitude, Reflex, Will. I'm going to boost those as much as I can. So for Constitution, I'm going to put in a 16. For Dexterity, it's be a 14. For Wisdom, also a 14. Strength will get the 12. Intelligence will get the 11. Charisma will get the 10. But because we are making him large. Oh, and you can't see any of this because I forgot to move this back. Up, back up. There we go. I'm bad at this. Okay. So because we are making him large, that means we need to come back here and take these status adjustments. So he gets a +8 to strength. That will make this an even 20. Dexterity will go down by 2. So this will become a 12. Constitution will go up by 4, making that also a 20. Which means that this is going to be a +5, +1, +5, plus none, +2, and 0. There we go. And because of that, he's got a cool 195 hit points. His Fortitude and Will are his highest, so we're going to boost those. That's going to be +9, +5, +9. Giving him a nice Fortitude save of 14, a 6 Reflex, and an 11 Will. But that's okay, because he'll be riding Sleipnir. And Sleipnir will have a good Reflex. Alright, damage reduction. It's going to be just none. Immunity. Also none. Spell resistance, no. Weaknesses, no. He doesn't have any of those. Natural armor, however, he gets a +2 because we made him bigger. And then, I think I'm going to go ahead and give him the bonus for a gargantuan. Because he is a knight, and so he is wearing armor. And so, we'll do it that way. As far as speed goes, I don't see a reason to make him any faster or slower. His speed will be 30 feet. And as far as melee attacks go, what is his special attack? Odin's special attack is obliteration. And so this is when he takes his sword and he just charges in a line. And I'm gonna actually include that here. It's a 120-foot line charge, which means that technically speaking, if there's anything in the way, he can only go so far. But he will KO anybody who gets hit by it. Since it's called obliteration, however, we are free to come up here and say his melee attack is his masterwork. How do you abbreviate that? I think it's just MWK. Zantetsuken. And that is a +19 because he is large. Now, in order to get the damage for it, we have to establish just what is the Zantetsuken. Let's see. Mine obsidian blade shall split atwain the threads of thy future, whilst its crimson fuller shalt channel the lifeblood of thy past. Now wail is thy soul is bestrewn across the plains of Valhalla. That is Odin while using the Zantetsuken in Final Fantasy 9. No, 11. That's 11. I can read. Okay. Also known as the Iron Severing Sword, also known as the Steel Bladed Sword, also known as the Adam Edge, or sometimes just shortened to Zantetsu or the Z Sword, not to be confined with the Dragon Ball Z Sword. His signature attack, and it shares the name of his sword. Zantetsuken typically instantly kills all opponents or does very high damage. In some games, it has the upgrade called Shin Zantetsuken, which is a higher success rate. Interesting. Let's see. It also has a similar one-hit kill move in Yojimbo's Zanmato. None of this really tells us what kind of sword it is. So I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to just visually inspect and try to figure it out. So let's pull this back down a bit. In this picture, it's kind of hard to classify what kind of sword that is because it's kind of weird. It looks to be like some kind of scimitar, but I'm not positive on that. It's got a curve similar to a scimitar, but most scimitars aren't jagged like that. On this one, we can't even see it because we're looking at it end or edge on. Ah, no wait, there it is. It looks very similar to the other kind of scimitar-looking sword. This one That actually kind of looks more like a falchion. I'm not sure. I'm going to go ahead and kind of say falchion on that one. Again, similarly, although this one looks kind of more like a broadsword. Maybe a scimitar? Hard to tell. The Crisis Core, Odin. That is... I have no idea what you call that. That is completely just a fantasy weapon. Given the sheer size of it, I am inclined to call that a two-handed sword. So, like a greatsword of some kind. I mean, he uses it one-handed, but I'm inclined to call that a greatsword. That burns. That's Final Fantasy VIII. Final Fantasy VIII also kind of looks like a greatsword. It's hard to tell because it's behind the horse. Final Fantasy IX. The proper term for that would be more of a temple sword, given the broad head on it. At least that's the name that I know it by. That might not be the right name for it. Let's see. This is also from Final Fantasy IX. Although I don't recall ever seeing... Or no, this is Final Fantasy XI, excuse me. Why do I keep getting that backwards? This... Wow, that is a lot of curve on that. That is absolutely one of the most ridiculous looking scimitars I've ever seen, but it's definitely a scimitar. No sword there for us to really look at. That is his Gungnir lance. We could include that in his arsenal too. We could absolutely include that in his arsenal. Okay, this is from Revenant Wings. That is... That actually looks very similar to a Chinese sword. What is it called? A seven-ring sword? I'm not positive on the name of that. But it does look like one of the Chinese swords with the rings along the back of it. Let's see. The Summon Odin in Final Fantasy XIII. This is dumb. I'm ignoring this. 13-2's Odin. Again, I'm ignoring 13 because 13 is terrible. 14. I have no idea what to make of that sword. Given the curve on it, I'm inclined to call it a scimitar, but I'm not positive. All in all, though, I keep looking through these and I keep coming up with a lot of scimitars. That one almost kind of looks like a Kopesh, the way the blade comes forward from the hilt. Very loosely based on a Kopesh. Yeah, here's a good picture of it. Very loosely based on a Kopesh, but kind of looks like one all the same. Let's see, Odin in the Forest. This is from Final Fantasy XIV. I don't even have words. Next. What is this? I have no idea what this is. We can't see anything in it anyway. That looks like he's carrying his lance. And this is from Final Fantasy XVI. So, nothing really on the sword. I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is call it a scimitar. Yeah, I'm going to call it a scimitar. Okay. Good enough for me. So I'm going to come over here to equipment. Weapons. And I want a martial, what would it be, a one-handed weapon? Two-handed? One-handed. Scimitar, here we go. So a scimitar does 1d6 damage. That being said, however, we're going up a size. And so 1d6 becomes 1d8. So we're going to say it's going to be 1d8 plus 5. And that's going to be slashing. Oh, and because this is masterwork, actually, it covers for the size punish, or the size penalty. So that goes up to a 20. Next, we may as well give him his lance. That's going to be a masterwork Gungnir. Am I spelling that right? Let's see, Xantic suit. Here we go. A lance-type weapon, Gungnir. Yeah. And so that is going to be also a plus 20. And lances... Lances do 1d8 damage. However, since we're making it one size bigger, 1d8 becomes 2d6. So that's going to be 2d6 plus 5. That's going to be piercing. And that is going to be a ×3 critical with reach. I forgot. Did the scimitar get anything better? Scimitar. Oh wait, here we go. Oh yes. 18 to 20. 18 to 20 times 2. And that makes sense for Odin. After all, he kills things. He kills things usually in one shot. Having great criticals, that works for him. And then, of course, melee. He's going to have a slam attack. Because he can, and that will be a 1d6. So, slam plus plus 19. And that is going to be 1d6 plus 5. Now, as for ranged, generally speaking, he is seen throwing his lance. Although, you don't really throw lances in Pathfinder. You charge with them, you thrust with them, you don't throw them. That being said, we could give him something to throw. So what we want here is something we can throw. Something with a range increment. So simple two-handed weapons, there's spears. What about something in martial? Something in martial with a range increment. Throwing axe, daggers, hammers. Let's see. One-handed melee weapons. Trident. Two-handed melee weapons. Yeah, okay. So there's nothing here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to give him a spear. Just a regular old spear. Nothing too fancy. But he'll be able to throw it. Now, where was it? There it is. JP says a javelin. Actually, that's a better idea. That's a much better idea. We'll go with a javelin. Because javelins are meant to be thrown. Spears, not as much. Alright, so, javelin. And it's going to be a masterwork javelin. So, which is kind of ridiculous, actually, because nobody would ever masterwork a javelin normally. So, masterwork javelin. A javelin does 1d6, so that's getting bumped up. That'll be a 1d8 plus 5 piercing. And that will have a range of 30 feet. Now, as for his space, because he is large, it's going to be 10 feet. His reach will, of course, also be 10 feet. Except with the, with his lance, because with the lance that already has reach, that means he can reach 15 feet with it. Fun times. Oh, and one more thing. I just thought of it. It's not just going to be a masterwork Zantetsuken. It's going to be a masterwork Vorpal Zantetsuken. Which if you're familiar with what Vorpal means, right now you are pissing yourself. If you are not familiar with what Vorpal means, continue in your blissful ignorance and don't fight Odin. Just don't do it. Okay, special attacks. Obliteration. Alright, so this can move over here. And there we go. So Obliteration. It is a KO attack. And that is a 120-foot line charge. However, since it is a charge and he can't hit anything, it needs to be a cylinder. So it's got to be a 150. No, it's fine. Actually, it's just going to be a 150-foot charge. And he should be able to charge through people. I forget what that's called. We're going to take a look at feats. Take a look at combat feats. And charge. Awesome charge. Let's see. You can attempt an awesome blow. No. Let's see. Bullet style charge. No. Charge through. Right. So make it charge through. That's what I want. JP says, how dare you, opening up the Vorpal box. Can't have one Vorpal item without the other items being around. Look, I'm not saying we can't have other items around. See, this is the beautiful thing about this. I have basically replaced the magic system from Pathfinder with the magic system from Final Fantasy. However, all of the other equipment remains the same. Which means that we can get magic weapons. We can have flame tongues. We can have ice brands. And yes, we can have Vorpal weapons. So him having a Vorpal weapon isn't that big a deal. Your party can go looking for Vorpal weapons if they want to. And by the way, just as a little bit of a hint to you, when we make characters and I sit down with each of my individual players and work with them on what their character wants, I will try to tailor the campaign so that all of my players have the opportunity to fulfill their desires. If we have a player whose greatest quest in life is to slay a dragon, you can be damn sure I am going to put a dragon in the future of this campaign. If there is another character whose main goal is to find true love, there is going to be a maiden to be saved. Or, if they want to go the other way around, perhaps they're saving a dude. I don't know, but there will be somebody for them to save. And if your particular quest is to find a weapon of great power, to find, like, the grandest of all swords, you can bet your skippy bottom that I'm going to put an extra special super sword in there for you. So that box is already open. And really, it's a grab bag. If you want to go looking for the king of all swords, make your character about that. We'll go looking for it. And I'm really, really good at this. I will do my best to not only put it in there, but I will be able to do so in a way that won't be obvious. You'll end up getting clues here and there. It's like, hold on, this one town held itself against an entire army of goblins? You're telling me that one soldier managed to defend this entire city against an army of goblins? Well, maybe that's something worth investigating. And Tuck says, what if my character's greatest desires involve feet? Well, I mean, first off, I'm dropping your charisma because people are going to find you weird. Secondly, we can take a trip to the Shire, if that's what you desire. There's half-foots and brandy books and everything else there. You should be right at home. Okay, so back to Odin. Actually, I don't think there's much for us to do here, except we're going to need to give Odin a lot of feats. Because he's got 2 feats and his horse has 6 feats. So he's going to need some. Specifically, he's going to need a lot of mounted feats. So where is the Dragoon? Oh, it's actually right here. Alright, so Odin pretty much needs all of these. He really does. He just needs like all of these. Also, shield. Mounted shield. I never realized that, but he actually does have some shields. He's got a shield. He's got a shield. He's got a shield. I wasn't even paying attention to that. He's got a shield. How many more have shields? Final Fantasy VIII does not have a shield. 9 does not have a shield. Okay, I think he kind of gave up the shield after a while. Should we give Odin a shield or not? Let me know in the chat. Should I give Odin a shield? You think about that while I start adding in some feats. So, mounted combat, mounted archery. Ride by, trample. Trample. Trick riding, I don't think we really need. Indomitable mount. Mass charge we don't need, but indomitable mount, mounted onslaught. I think I want mounted onslaught. Let's see. Mounted onslaught. You may overrun more than one creature. Yes, I want that. What else? Spirited charge, wheeling charge? Spirited charge doubles the damage on a mounted charge. Yep, we're giving that one. Spirited charge. And wheeling? The mount can turn 90 degrees when charging, and you may attack during this move. Sure, yeah. I'm moving all of this down here so that I can move some of this down here. I don't think he needs to have the shield. He's got plenty enough already. I think that's pretty good. Alright, so that's Odin. Oh, I forgot to get his initiative and senses. His initiative is going to be a +5, which makes him one of the highest so far. And his senses are going to be a perception +2. +2. Okay. So I'm going to call that pretty good. Now, all of his feats are mounted related, but he's going to come with his own mount. And so, yeah, that actually kind of works out. He does not have any spells. He does not need any spells. He's just going to come in and cut things up. So we're going to go ahead and save this. All right, so this one is clear. There's Odin. I'm actually kind of excited to see him come in because I can picture him being summoned into battle. He drops in on his horse, draws his sword with one hand, grabs a javelin with another. He picks one person off with a javelin, slashes another, and then just runs down anybody in front of him with his horse. To say nothing of if he actually pulls out that lance, because if he pulls out that lance and does a charge and crits, so I do believe that a lance does extra damage if you charge. That's going to be weapons. One-handed melee. Two-handed melee? Yeah, there it is. Lance. So, a lance deals double damage when used from the back of a charging mount. While mounted, you can wield the lance with one hand. So, he can still use a sword in one hand and a lance in the other. And it does double damage in a charge. Doubled again for spirited charge. So this, what do we say it do? 2d6 plus 5? Let's go ahead and assume maximum damage. Maximum damage is going to be 17. If it's in a charge, that is 34 damage. With spirited charge, that is going to be 68 damage. And if it's a crit, that is going to be 68 damage times 3. There is not a god alive that is going to save you. I mean, that is just terrifying. I mean, that is, you know, the highest it could do, but it's still terrifying. Alright, so we have one more to make real quick. And that is, we have to make Odin's horse. So, because I don't want to misspell this... there it is. Oh! It just took me back here. Okay, sure, let's just copy and paste. Frickin' Scandinavian names. There we go. Sleipnir. Sleipnir? I have no idea. Okay, because it is a horse, it is going to be neutral. And the size. Generally speaking, horses are large. And medium creatures can rise them. I think that it has to be one size category larger in order to be ridden. Which means that Sleipnir here is gonna have to be huge. And so that's going to be a -2 and a +2. The type will be outsider. The initiative is automatically a 4. Senses and aura we'll get to. Actually, aura's not going to have one. Now, because it is huge, it will get a +5 to natural armor. I'm not going to count horse armor. Strength and everything, however, I'm going to actually pull up a horse. So, bestiary, horse. GH, hydras, horses and ponies. War pony. But I don't want a war pony, I don't think. I want a war horse. There's a fiendish heavy war horse. It's not as helpful. I don't think it's a draft horse either. Advanced horse? You know what? This appears to be a normal riding horse, but its uncanny grace and strength hid at its exceptional ability. You know what? This is what we're going to use. Okay? That's what we're going to use. Alright, so it is large, but we're going to make ours huge. Mostly, I just want to know where to put my stats. So it's going to be strength and constitution and then dex. So that's going to be 16, 14, 14. And afterwards, wisdom, charisma, and intelligence. So that's going to be 10. That's going to be 12. That'll be 11. And it only gets an 11 in charisma because it's cute. Remember, you could be the dumbest monkey, but as long as you're cute, you have a high charisma. Now, because we are making it huge, we have to add another 16 to strength. So that'll make that a 32. It's going to be a -4 to dexterity. So that's only going to be 10. And a +8 to constitution, making that 22. We already gave it the natural armor. And now that we got these ability scores for 32, it's going to be +11. For dexterity, nothing. For constitution, that's +6. Yeah, +6. Intelligence is going to be plus nothing. Wisdom is a +1. And charisma is a plus nothing. So there we go. Now that we got that, fortitude will get a 9. Reflex will get a 5. Will get a 9. And just like with Odin, none of these will be of any effect. Senses, however, perception +1. And for the initiative, there is no dexterity bonus, so just a +4. Speed, however, is where things are going to get kind of interesting. Speed is 50 feet. So 50 feet. As for melee, it says the horse here only gets 2 hooves attacks. And I guess I'm okay with that. So since it is huge, hooves are going to be a 1d8 each. It's going to be 2 hooves plus 15 plus 11 is 26, minus 2 is going to be 24. And each of them does 1d8 plus 11. No range attack. Space and reach. It is going to be a huge and long, so it's going to be 15 feet and a natural reach of 10. So 15 feet and 10. Special attacks. There are no special attacks. There are no spells. Because it is just a horse. It's a very special horse, but just a horse. That being said, however, as far as feats go, this horse gets endurance and run. And so we will give that here as well. And run. Now, of course, run means that you get to move 5 times your normal speed. Right. And so with a normal speed of 50, 5 times that is 250. That's a long way. I'm just saying, that's literally 50 squares. And with endurance, you can keep that up for a while. In fact, longer than Odin will be on the field. So the endurance is actually not really needed. So yeah, I mean, that should work. And JP just says, feats! Actually, it has 6 feats. I wonder. And by the way, as general feats, did you forget to salute, soldier? Alright, come on, let's go backwards. I wonder if there's anything that I can get for stability. Let's see. Stabilize, stabilize, stabilize. No, there's really nothing here for stability. Knockout artist. Let's see. Minotaur's charge? No. Pommel strike? No. Resilient Eidolon? No. Nothing there about being knocked down, so I don't think I can really give anything to give the horse any additional stability. So it's just going to be that. The fact is, though, that all the feats that really are important come from Odin, and Odin combined with Sleipnir should be an absolute monster. I mean, the ability to move 50 feet per turn with no penalty at all, Vorpal's sword in one hand, enormous lance in the other hand, a javelin that can hit somebody 30 feet away. Yeah, I mean, it's just a horse, but the horse combined with Odin, I don't want to fight this thing. This is the kind of thing that you just run from. If Odin hits the field, just run away. Because you're probably going to have a bad time. But I think that's good enough for the horse. It's got stats. I mean, the horse alone has 210 hit points. There is not enough time. Odin will not be on the field long enough for you to kill both Odin and the horse. If you spend all of your time trying to cut down the horse, Odin is going to slaughter you. If you spend all of your time trying to cut down Odin, you're not going to be able to slow him down. This is a lose-lose proposition whenever Odin hits the field. Okay, though. We're going to copy, and we're going to come over here to storage. Kneeling charge is right there, so we have to go up to this column. And we can put Sleipnir right there. That's pretty good. I like that. Alright. So now that that's done, that means that we got 4 summons done technically today. We got Salamander, we got Leviathan, we got Odin and his horse. Not bad for a day's work. We still got more to go, though. So that takes care of Salamander, Leviathan, and Odin. We still have the Cyclops to do, as well as Bahamut and Zodiark. And that is not counting any that we might add. As we pointed out, there are others that we could do. Knights of the Round, Gilgamesh, Ark, Alexander. There's lots of other summons. The question is, do we add them or not? I think I might actually put a poll out on that one. But for today, we're going to call this one good. We're going to call this one done, and we're going to take a break. Because, like, I got stuff I got to get done today, too. It's fun, though. I like doing this. This is the kind of stuff that I do in my free time. And it kind of kills me now waiting, like, for every Sunday to come back and do more. I mean, I write these games in my free time just because I enjoy doing it. And I mean, I guess I do kind of understand this to a certain degree. Like, one of the things that I always talk about is, I know people that love cooking. I know people who love to cook. And it's one of those things that I've never understood, because me, personally, I hate cooking. Now, that isn't to say that I'm bad at cooking. I'm actually really, really good at cooking. But I hate doing it. I get no joy and pleasure from it. But this is the kind of thing that I could sit down and do all day. And when people say that, you know, looking at spreadsheets like this drives them up a wall, I'm like, what are you talking about? It's beautiful. It is glorious what we have made here. How can you call this ugly? How can you say you wouldn't want to do this all day? So, you know, I kind of get it. It's not everyone's cup of tea. Still, though, if you've been here this long and you keep showing up for these, obviously it must be your cup of tea. Because otherwise you have to be truly, truly miserable right now. So, come and join me in the misery next week. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the bell icon. That way you get notified for the next one. It'll be next Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time for the U.S. Same time every week, but you'll still get a notification. And if you know somebody else who also might enjoy this, share the video with them. Make sure they get a notification too. And just in case you're worried about that, you can leave a like on the video. You can leave comments on it. You can join the Discord, where you'll also get more notifications before it comes out. Either way, I'll do everything I can to make sure you come back here, so that you can see me, my beautiful spreadsheets, and where's my little furry dude? There he is. You can come back and see him too. I gotta figure out a way still to make him stay on screen. I don't know yet. I'm trying to figure it out. And see, Tux says, maybe I just enjoy being miserable. Well, if that's true, then misery truly does love company. Come back here and be miserable with us. So, like I said, leave a like on the video. Leave a comment either in the chat or down below or on the Discord. Just leave comments everywhere. I like comments. And I will see you next time for more of the same. More of the Final Fantasy Tabletop module. Come back for more of that. I'll see you next time. Take care.